depends on you and your day-to-day life, really. How important is English to you? Oh God, this is always going to be a tricky topic, because now we're taking the work and doubling it. So really, I think you've got to think about how useful is each language, which do you use the most, etc., 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 and balance the time available based on that. My advice would always be, but this is maybe tricky in your situation because you need both now. My advice is usually to focus on one first. Really, just fix one problem first and then go on to the next one. For me personally, that's always the best thing to do, because if I start to work on two different things, it's like I do them both badly. And most people, I think, are the same. Like, once you start to multitask on things, you kind of just end up in a chaotic situation where you're doing loads of things, but you're not doing anything particularly well. So I would always recommend that people, if English takes priority, do that first. And then once you get to the point where really you can now just do everything that you need to do, then just reapply what you've learned to French. That said, my guess is you probably have different situations where you need to use English compared to French. And my guess is you also probably need French now. Is that the case? Do you tend to use French in the same situations as English, or different? In that case, what you could potentially do, and this is a little bit weird, but I think it would work, is treat learning French as something that you do as a part of your relaxed usage and exposure time. Get some, for example, how good are you at French now? Something like Pimsleur would be quite good for you then. Are you familiar with the Pimsleur series? It's based on the idea of spaced repetition. It's very good. I warn you, though, that it's really boring sometimes. The way Pimsleur works, it's essentially there's no grammar, no vocabulary, no teaching like that. Essentially, they give you a sentence and you translate back and forth between your native language, and it's basically a memory-based system. So the problem with Pimsleur is that sometimes the dialogues and the conversations are quite unnatural. But if you just need to get the basics, yeah. I mean, I did the first 10 to 15 lessons for Chinese Mandarin, and it's really a case of, like, the conversation goes along the lines of, you meet a woman, say hello to her, and then you have to say ni hao before they then give you the translation, and then it's like, ask her if she speaks English, and you have to shout out 你会说英文吗? Which I probably just completely screwed up in terms of the pronunciation because I gave up on it. And it works like that. It's mind-numbingly boring, but each lesson is in a 30-minute block. So perhaps in your situation, what I would do is I would focus on English if that takes priority. If that's what you're using in your work and all of that good stuff, focus on English, then really just treat French as kind of an extra add-on thing. So perhaps do an hour intensive learning a day for English, and then if you've got the time to do it, also schedule like 30 minutes for French, and then use something like the Pimsleur series where you're going to be doing it in English. So it has the advantage that it's going to deepen your knowledge of English, but you're also going to be learning French. And because it's a very, very basic thing, you're really going to be learning things along the lines of, say hello, ask the woman, do you have any bread? And things like that. You know, it's not going to challenge you at all in terms of English, but it is going to give you more usage and exposure to English in a slightly different way that's then going to allow you to compare that with French as well. The other thing you need to keep in mind, and this is going to be especially important to you, is the cultural aspects of language learning. We're going to talk about that a lot towards the end of the course when we get into week 9 and 10 especially, but also 11 and 12 to an extent, because different culture, different way of using English, also it's going to affect your French and things like that. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Does that sound like a realistic plan? If anybody on the call is familiar with Pimsleur. Can you do me a favor and just type that into the chat, like pimsleur.com, I think it is. There we go. Thank you, Gilda. Otherwise, I was going to say I'll send out a link. The Pimsleur lessons, they're not that expensive. They're not that cheap either. I would recommend that you don't go for their by every level we have in a certain language at once, because I've done that 2 or 3 times and I've never actually finished a course. So start with the sample lesson, which you can do for free, see if you like it, and then consider whether it's going to be worth it or not. Another system that's really quite good is French Class 101. They're part of the Innovative Language Learning series. I actually have a VIP account with them where I get access to every language for life. I think I can also get people a discount as well. Perhaps. I don't know if they've changed their affiliate system now. That's quite good, but for absolute beginners, I don't think it's as good as Pimsleur. Thank you to whoever just put the link in the system. Give that a go, perhaps this week, and see how you get on, and report back to me next week. And then if it's not working for you, or if it's too much and you're now feeling overwhelmed, we can tweak and change. How does that sound?